Okay, hello, good afternoon, and welcome to this inspiration session, Food for Thought. It's nice to have you here. For the people who don't know me, my name is Annika Kuijper, and I work at the Amsterdam University of Applied Sciences, the HVA, the research group or lectoraat cross media. Before I start, please turn off your microphone when you're not speaking, and this presentation will be in English and recorded. So I would kindly like to ask you not to ask questions yet. I will explain you in a bit how and when you can ask questions. So today I'm here with Hanneke van Zetten, the Innovation Manager of the Johan Cruijff ArenA, and Johan Fink, the co-founder and director of AIONSPORTS. And we are all excited to be here and we are looking forward to this session. So I would like to mention and also welcome the Knowledge Center, the organizers of this session, and thank them to be here with us. Before I go to the first speaker, I would like to invite you to go to the Slido app. Maybe I can better share my screen. One sec. So you can see my screen. I think I can't see myself anymore, but so we have some questions for you, and we will collecting some information about who is joining us today. And probably most colleagues are from the Amsterdam University of Applied Science, but we all have other reasons to be here or not to be here. So it will be interesting to see the results at the end. So please go to the Slido app. You can just scan the barcode at the screen, or you can go to slido.com in your browser and fill in the code 020. So, and if you can go to the app, don't worry, I will give a recap later. If you're going to the Slido app, maybe I can explain a bit. On the left side, you see the Q&A. It's a space for chatting, questions, tips, links, or suggestions. So if you have any questions during the presentations, let us know in the Slido app. And we will get back to your questions and comments at the end of the presentations. There's time for this. The other section on your screen is called polls, and these are questions from us to you. So when you're in the Slido app, you will already see the first question, I think. So how would you describe your profession or your expertise? You can fill it in now. I already see some people filled it in. So thanks for your input. I see. Okay, most of us are having a background in research and media, as far as I can see right now. Maybe we can go to the second question. I will click on it so you see the second question. And you can also answer this. Okay, I see some people. I see inspiration, information, and methods we use. Interesting. So, okay, that's nice to hear. And maybe it's also a nice bridge because the aim of this session is to inspire and to inform you. So, thanks for your input. First, we will tell you about the SAX program, Spectaculair Arena Experiences, and the impact it could have on the ecosystem and the larger complex issues. Field Lab SAX is a program at the Johan Cruijff ArenA together with Media Perspectives, the HVA and TNO. It starts in 2019 to create opportunities for SMEs to improve visitor experiences. They set up also a challenge, change the game, and Hanneke will tell more about it later. And besides Field Lab SAX, we also talk about the ecosystem the Johan Cruijff ArenA is moving and related larger issues and societal challenges, such as gender, inclusion, identity, human well-being, political statements, human rights, and so on. So a recent example I would like to start with is you've probably seen the national soccer team wearing this t-shirt with the text "Football Support Change" a few weeks ago. This was This was a major statement, of course, about human rights and the World Cup hosted by Qatar. So this shows us and actually teach us about humanity and that we can and must change in a way. This is a small representation about some difficult challenges and social issues we are facing at the moment, but it makes impact. So in order to be able to think about or influence behavior or social change, we must consider that we have to collaborate and communicate with a sort of wider ecosystem. So the athletes, the stadium, but also the citizen, the customers, as well the students, young professionals, and all kinds of stakeholders. And we need to look into the whole network. It's a network of everyone involved that needs to bring about the necessary change. And the question is how? How can we do this? On this note, I would like to introduce Hanneke van Zetten, the Innovation Manager of the Johan Cruijff ArenA. She will tell us about impact and the social issues, and as well their Amsterdam Arena Field Lab and the experiments with small and big companies around the world. After Hanneke, we will listen to Jan Fink, Director of AIONSPORTS. This company improves sport performances and optimize fan experience. And then I will speaking on behalf of Ruben, who cannot join us today, and we'll take a look at the role of the HVA in this Field Lab SAX program. We will look at some design tools and insights which will help us to gain awareness about these complex social issues. As already said, we will get back to your questions and comments at the end. Okay, Hanneke, once again, welcome, and we look forward to hear about the Johan Cruijff ArenA. I will unshare my screen, so you can take it over.
Thank you very much, and very glad to be here. I'm happy to be able to tell you a little bit more about the Johan Cruijff ArenA and the work that I'm doing there. So before I'll shortly introduce myself, I am Hanneke van Zetten. I work for KPMG, the innovation team. And what we do is we advise organizations about innovation and about building innovation capabilities. And part of that is that we support organizations in open innovation. So we help organizations build an ecosystem around challenges that they have in common with that ecosystem in order to solve them. And because of that, I became involved with the Johan Cruijff ArenA for already more than 2 years ago, with one of the challenges that we did, the Change the Game, as Annika just mentioned. And after, I've been involved for the past 2 years, also on a broader, in a broader sense, with the Innovation Center for Program Management and Partnership Management. And I will tell you today about the second Open Innovation Challenge that we did. It's called Reimagine Football. I will share my slides. I hope you can all see it now. Okay, I don't hear anything, so I assume it's going well. First, I can give a short introduction about the Johan Cruijff ArenA for the people who are not familiar with the stadium or haven't been there yet. It is the largest stadium of the Netherlands with 55,000 seats. It opened in 1996, so the next August we will celebrate its 25th birthday. It was supposed to host the European Championships in 2020, but it was postponed. So next month will be the Euro 2020 in the stadium. So we'll have 4 matches of the Dutch soccer team. Besides football, there are a lot of Ajax matches and the matches of the KNVB, the Dutch FA, but it's also a multifunctional stadium because it's also hosting large-scale business events and conferences, but also dance events such as Sensation and Tomorrowland. If we look to innovation at the Johan Cruijff ArenA, we're not looking to innovation only at the stadium or in the stadium. We're also looking to the broader ecosystem of the partners that are around, the stakeholders that are around the stadium. So here you can see a picture of the ARENA port. It's the area in southeast around the stadium. And as you can see, you see the station, but you see malls, you see employers that are there. There are other entertainment areas, such as the cinema. And during events, it's important that all these stakeholders work together to make sure people have a nice stay when they're there. So if we look to innovation, it's part, we are talking about this ecosystem. So it's not only the ecosystem of the partners that are around the stadium, but it's also a network of corporate parties, small, medium-sized enterprises, research institutes, and other partners. And the themes that we are focusing on with the Johan Cruijff ArenA Innovation Center are typical stadium themes, but we bring them to a bit of a more abstract and societal level. So this slide, you actually need to read it from the bottom to the top. In the bottom, you see the typical themes that are related to a stadium. So sustainability or inclusivity or safety and security. Those are naturally linked to the stadium operations, so the daily operations. But where we do innovation is that we take it a step further and make it part of a larger societal movement. So for instance, the sustainability theme for the arena, they want to be a sustainable stadium. But what we say with the partners of ARENA is that we do not only want to be a sustainable stadium, but we want to be the platform for partners to accelerate the transition towards renewable energy. So we are inviting partners to work with us on this societal mission and using the stadium as a platform to do this. And then on the top, you see the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, the color blocks, the people of Amsterdam, and a donut economy model. And that's because everything that we're doing with our partners is meant to eventually result in a positive impact on society and on these on the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. And we use these goals as a common language for corporates, to connect them on these missions. I first had a question before I go into this slide, so maybe Annika can activate the question. I actually had a poll and I was wondering what you thought about this. I was stating you should focus your innovation efforts on themes that are directly linked to your core business. And I was wondering if you would agree with that or not. I see some votes coming in. Some agree, some disagree. Well, I'm looking to Annika if we have time to ask one person to give their share their thoughts on this. Yeah, is there someone that would like to comment on what they voted? I see 70% is agreeing with this. Who disagreed? Keeps it's very quiet, so I'll take it further. But I think it's an interesting poll because you could say it's easier to focus on your core capabilities and become really good in what you're already doing. But what I like from the Johan Cruijff ArenA is that they take their core themes and also broaden it in a way that they can connect with other partners and on their goals. And it's also a way of showing where you want to go in the future. So it's not only sticking to what you can do today, but also to focus and see if you can broaden your capabilities to be ready for tomorrow. Then I will take back the presentation because now I want to talk a little bit about how we are organizing this innovation. So what we do, we collaborate, we innovate, and we accelerate. The collaborate part is about creating synergies with the ecosystem. So all the parties that are involved with the ecosystem, we are linking them together to create more innovations. The innovate part is about using the stadium as a lab or a hub or just a physical place where you can innovate. You can bring your assets and you can validate your innovations. And the accelerate part, and I will go into that for the Reimagine Football Challenge. That's the way that we are speeding up innovation with partners. What we say with acceleration is it's an assumption that if you want to innovate, you cannot know everything by yourself, or you're probably not capable to do everything by yourself. So you need partners to help you with the newest innovations in the market. And with acceleration, we say we work with open innovation to find those partners to help you with your challenges. So this is the ecosystem that is currently in place at the Johan Cruijff ArenA. So on the top, you see the beneficiaries. Those are the people that are the parties that are renting the stadium. So it's Ajax, KNVB, UEFA, but also the national police that is using the arena as their field lab. We have corporate partners, such as KPN, Geodan, Signify, Honeywell, and scale-up partners. And scale-up partners are the small, medium-sized enterprises who are also rolling out their innovation roadmap. So they are testing their newest innovations in the stadium. And one important, it's a bit in the middle, it's the citizens and the fans, because ultimately that's one of the most important stakeholders in this ecosystem, as they are the ones that are visiting the stadium, using the innovations, providing feedback. And broader than that, as I just showed about the societal impact, it's also if we can scale the innovations that are working in the arena and we can scale them towards outside of the arena, then we will impact more citizens and more people around us. So now comes my favorite part. It's about acceleration. It's the open innovation programs, the Change the Game and the Reimagine Football. It's the process where we were looking for innovative startups and scale-ups from all around the world to collaborate around a common challenge. So what was the common challenge? Reimagine Football was launching last summer. So we were half a year into the global pandemic, and it was for everybody a really uncertain time and a lot of changes. It's the same in the world of football for the stadium, but also for the football federations and the clubs. The stadiums were empty for already half a year, but there were also some other challenges that the football was facing because you couldn't play football anymore. So also when you're a recreational or amateur player, you couldn't join your club anymore. And it was just very quiet. So what we did, we gathered these partners together. So Johan Cruijff ArenA, the KNVB, the Dutch Football Federation, City Football Group, Ajax, and UEFA. And we have defined with them common challenges that we would like to have answers on. So there were 5 different subtopics. So we're focusing on at-home fans. So for people who watch from home, that they still can feel involved and engage with the football. Operational excellence was the challenge that was mainly for the stadium. How can we facilitate a healthy environment where people feel safe together? And excellent stadium experiences was about bringing increasing, making sure the experience was good, even though maybe it was only allowed to have a small amount of people in the stadium. How can we still make sure these people have a good time? And the amateur and recreational football engagement, that was about the involvement of people who are recreational players. So what we did, we launched integrated communication outreach. So we were targeting specific groups, target groups, to make sure that our challenges were out there in the world. So we were stating what our challenges were and making sure that people could submit their solutions to our platform. So I wanted to show you this video of the campaign. Yeah, there it goes. what you could see is that all the different sub-themes that I just described were coming back, and we launched this video to the outside world, like who can help us reimagine football in these 4 ways. And then, yeah, we were actually quite nervous, because then it's out there and you don't really know what you're going to find. You don't know what kind of partners are triggered and want to contribute or want to subscribe. And in the beginning, what we usually see with these kind of challenges, we only see a couple of ideas or a couple of solutions coming in the first days and weeks. And also with this case, and we got quite nervous, because at some point you're doubting if there are actually solutions to your challenges. But luckily, after 3 weeks, when the communication campaign was really taking off, we saw all these solutions coming in, and it was these were so many. I think more than 10 or 15 each day came in, and it was actually even a struggle to make sure you're up to date with everything that came in. So it was still a lot of work for everybody to catch up on everything. So in the end, the impact of the challenge was quite big. I would say it's for when you look at the brand impact, we had a lot of online impressions. So more than 4 million people have seen the campaign. But also, if you look to their interaction and the participation, I think it was a huge success, because we had almost 1,500 people that were on the platform, sharing ideas or just looking or commenting. Also, it was globally represented from 75 countries or 75 nationalities and 38 countries. And I think the most important, the 329 solutions that were eventually submitted to the challenges. And if you see on the bottom, we selected 27 finalists out of all these 300, and those were getting a follow-up. So they are now being implemented and further developed with either one or more of the organizations that have organized it. So I have two examples of innovations that are currently in the stadium because of this Reimagine Football Challenge. So one of them is Signify. You might know the company already, but they submitted their solution of the UVC lights. And the lights are disinfecting the air, but also the surface. And during the last match in the Johan Cruijff ArenA, they have tested the use of this UVC light in the bathroom or in the toilets to make sure that if it works the way it works. Like, technically, they were sure it works, but in the arena they have tested how people behave when these lights are in the toilets. So, for instance, there was a red light above the toilets if the lights were on. So if the UVC light was working, there was a red light showing. And when it was done and it was all disinfected, the lights turned green. So in that sense, it was also a social behavior experiment to see how would people respond to this kind of technologies. And this was contributing, of course, to making sure that we have a healthy environment, that people that are going to the stadium have a healthy, safe visit and also feel safe. And the second example is Close. It's a customer journey solution, and it's an app that's supporting the entire customer journey. So before you're going to the stadium, you get notifications of everything that you need to do, especially in these quite complex situations that you need to do your quick COVID testing. You need to go through a certain entrance. You need all different information according to in what group you are in the stadium. So this app was facilitating this entire journey and making sure everybody had the right information on the right time. Making sure that on the one hand, for the organizers, it's easy to make sure everybody is involved and you can make sure people go to the direction that you want to do, that you want them to go. But on the other hand, it's also enhancing your experience, because as a visitor, you are experiencing less hassle when you're going to the stadium. So I'd like to finish with, it was the latest game, and you might have seen it on the news. The 27th of March, it was the Dutch national team against Latvia, and it was one of the field lab events that was allowed in the Netherlands, where 5,000 people were again allowed in the stadium. That was the largest group of people so far, and during this event, we had more than 25 experiments running. So part of that was coming from the Organization for Field Lab Events, so the organization that's also doing these other events in the Netherlands now. But there was also a large part that was coming from our partners and from organizations that came out of Reimagine Football. And I think it's a great example to show how the stadium is functioning as this innovation field lab for our partners. And I have one more question to close my story off. I hope Annika can activate it. I was wondering if you know that there's more than 25 experiments taking place, how many of them were related to the Reimagine Football Challenge? Only 20% has tried. Oh, 29%. It's 10, so it's quite a lot. Almost half of the experiments had to do something with the outcome of the challenge. So I thought it was a great example. Thank you for voting, and thanks for your attention. I have put my contact details here. If you feel free to reach out if you would like to know more. And thank you.
Right. Hanneke, thank you for this great overview and insights. I found it kind of I found it interesting to see the experiments and your examples in the ARENA Field Lab. You just mentioned 2 examples. But now we are moving to the next speaker, Johan Fink from AIONSPORTS. Hanneke already outlined sort of bigger picture. And I also see a bridge to the SME AIONSPORTS. And Johan, I invite you to introduce your company and your role in the ecosystem.
Thank you, Annika. Let me see if I can. Sharing the screen works now. Is it visible?
Yes, I can see it. Thanks.
Okay. Well, thank you, Annika, for inviting me, and also Hanneke for your part in this session. We have been also participating in Change the Game and Reimagine Football. In the meantime, we have also, let's say, changed a bit of our strategy. We participated in a few topics at that moment. We didn't get selected, but in the end, we did. It resulted in an extensive relationship with the Johan Cruijff ArenA. I will elaborate on that later, but also with the Hogeschool van Amsterdam. So with this, within this SAX, we have started to discuss with the Johan Cruijff ArenA the stadium tours, which were quite limited due to COVID-19, and well, it has been on and off quite, because they were allowed, they were not allowed, people were allowed in. I know my son has been on one of the last tours with his team, and after that it was closed. So we were discussing with Annika, Ruben, and Jan from the ARENA how to work on, let's say, a virtual stadium tour. I will go a little bit further on that one after I explained a bit on what we do with AIONSPORTS. Within AIONSPORTS, we have 3 pillars. We have a reporting analysis tool where we use data, third-party or own data for scouting, reporting, and analysis. We have the Pro tool, which is using data, positional data, XYZ data from third-party companies, which can be through optical tracking or tracking from the broadcast stream. And we, on the fly, transform this into virtual reality, which is mainly used after the match for player analysis and performance, but spatial awareness, cognitive skills in virtual reality. So we actually, by making use of data scientists and the coach, place them after the match again physically in the match. So they can look around, we can place them at every position because we have all the data, and gain more insights and give the players more insights. We also make use of this same positional data for fan experience. So we can take the positional data, and we've made an iOS and an Android app where we transform this data into virtual reality, but also augmented reality. So you can place your the live match on your, let's say, on your kitchen table. And in this augmented reality part, we can also add different data layers. This, for example, if it's allowed for betting or micro betting, but also to see all kinds of data, who run the most miles, who is running the fastest, etc. And this all to leverage fan experience engagement and for a club to monetize on this. So Pro showcases ION's unique approach to this data, which is, well, as we think, holistic, multidimensional, intelligent. It's about the role that we try to emphasize that technology can play in all aspects of football. Doesn't necessarily have to be, but both performance related, recruitment related, but this also relates to fan. Our role is to showcase a warmer, more interesting and more immersive side to the exact role which data can play in soccer or football. Our fan tool is providing a hyper immersive and novel way to experience football like we've never seen before. You can really step into the virtual boots of your favorite player or any player on a pitch, and you are, at that moment, you're really immersed into that real live match experience, which doesn't necessarily mean it has to be live. It can also be a match which is recorded and broadcasted after. So also on demand, this works perfectly fine. Our other company, which was also involved in this discussion, is but is heavily related to AIONSPORTS, is Streaming Bus, where we have built a cloud streaming platform where we can support live and on demand, sports, TV, movies, TV shows, anything, to any kind of device protected by DRM or watermarking. And the three pillars we focus on here is creation and production, the distribution of what has been created or produced, and the security of this, anti-piracy, and how to monetize and further personalize. So what we do is we stream any live and on-demand content, which can be broadcast live linear, archive assets, which are sport assets, movie assets, anything from archive to live. We support 180 and 360 degree video, which is a 360 video is commonly thought of as virtual reality, which is, where the big difference is 360 video is a real video, and virtual reality, where you can also look around 360, is, data which is being shown as video. We also fully support virtual reality, augmented reality, and mixed reality. Well, as mentioned, we can send this through cloud hybrid solutions on-premise, like in a stadium, to any person or organization in the world, any device, no latency, and we utilize the same cloud, and we combine this with edge computing, satellite, OTT, augmented reality, and mixed reality. Then, my next slide. This is how a optical tracking camera looks like. So this is a live, let's say, presumably this is a live match, and the cameras are tracking every movement of all the players, and they also identify all the players. They track the referees, the side referees, they track the ball. So the output of this is something we put into our, what we call AI core engine. And this, well, without any latency, the only latency is how quickly we get this kind of positional data into our core engine, and this is being transformed. This is the Johan Cruijff ArenA, actually. This is how it's being transformed by our AI core engine into virtual reality. And this is from a different perspective. Here we are running after the players. And because we have all the positional data, we can select exactly every position. So first person perspective or bird's eye view. We have a top view as well, but also the keeper perspective or the coach perspective. And then I have a next video of how a first person perspective looks like in American football.
Come on, team! On the ball, you can win it all! Press! Lever! Down! Stand back! Wing Black 18! Black 18! Hut, hut!
On the go, or maybe even also in stadium, will experience, it's now flat 2D, but in 3D on your Oculus Quest or in your phone in a cardboard, it really looks, well, 3D and immersified. Here we go again. So what's our vision with Streaming Bus and AIONSPORTS? Our strong vision is that every club, stadium, league, but also athlete and players will become media companies. That in a few years from now, they will maybe not go to through the Eredivisie Live like in the Netherlands, Fox Sports, ESPN. They will take control and they will utilize their content, what they own now, but is being sold to companies like ESPN. Will monetize on their own assets like content, social video, and will take the rights into their own hands. Because in the end, what we say, being let's say also active in Hollywood movies, etc., music and TV shows, content and the content rights, but also the data, because who is owning the data of a player or a team or a club is the biggest asset you can have. We have designed this digital transformation in sports, media and entertainment. What's, let's say, applicable in media and entertainment is also applicable in sports. We say we need to engage fans. We need to engage fans in mixed reality by capturing and analyzing data to enable personalized immersive experiences. Then the next one is to optimize this creation, but also the distribution and monetization parts by utilizing and leveraging all the operations. Then you need to empower the employees of a club or of the stadium to further create, collaborate and innovate. And then we go to the left side where we need to engage fans with different experiences, which are being transformed because you gather all the data, you need to do something with the data and distill all the information from it. And then you can engage fans on a more personalized way with differentiated experiences. So the other digital feedback loop in this media is that you grow your audience, and by growing your content, you get more data. So it's, let's say, it's a loop which is only working the way up. You need to track and understand the exact customer or fan experience preferences. Now, there are a lot of algorithms which can provide personalized experiences and targeted advertising. There are already a lot of, and we are supporting this AI-powered content indexing, recommendation engines, and then the media company is able to deliver, sports, short-form content, social videos, user-generated content, because we also think that a lot of the content, let's say, for example, a club of Ajax, will be showing in a few years, will also be user-generated content, which is, well, costing Ajax, for example, totally nothing. But the fans are very willing to share this, and this way you are building your audience and building your content, and you will get more data. What was the casus we discussed after having the initial talks with the Johan Cruijff ArenA and the HVA? We were talking about innovations at COVID-19. I already mentioned it briefly in the beginning. There were no or limited stadium tours, and we had to set our minds to explore the opportunities on having virtual stadium tours. So together we investigated this. We discussed it through the double diamonds, Annika, and all the other the Miro boards, etc. And see together with all the stakeholders how we could work together and could transform physical stadium tour into a fully immersive stadium tour, which can also be enjoyed from home or when you're traveling, for example, in an airplane or by train on the go. At the same time, when the physical stadium tours would resume after COVID-19 became less or hopefully fully ended, we also elaborated on how we could use this immersiveness into the physical stadium tours. So to enhance the experience inside the stadium with virtual experiences, and also then maybe Hanneke already mentioned it, a lot of the concerts and Sensation and Tomorrowland, etc., how we can utilize this same techniques on music concerts. Well, the process we went through is a lot of workshops we did with as mentioned already, the Miro boards, the double diamonds, and because of this, from all parties involved, we gained amazing insights into the exact requirements, needs of everyone involved. So let's say from the ARENA side, from the HVA side, but also by the innovations we could bring to the table. We came to the conclusion that there were a lot of dependencies. We identified these as well, and we realigned strategies, accessed all the pain points, whereas we had a lot of talks where we thought, okay, couldn't we come up with this from day one? But you have to go through this whole creative process in order to define this. So there were definitely a lot of bottlenecks, and we also found there are a lot of new chances within these bottlenecks. So we stripped down the whole idea and renegotiated and worked on this one. The outcome was that these stadium tours, whether physical stadium tours added with virtual experiences or immersive experiences or a fully virtual one, depended for a large amount, and it was already mentioned earlier by me, on let's say footage of Ajax. So video transformed into data to be shown in virtual reality or augmented reality, and a lot of on Ajax's content. This also means that a Mojo concert, for example, needs to be involved. But also to recreate, let's say, the dressing room of Ajax, you need Ajax, and if you want to have the experience, you go from the dressing room into the pitch, and walk through the corridors. You also need, to virtualize everything, which is Ajax or ARENA. That was quite, let's say, a discussion we had internally, and the ARENA also with Ajax. It was a tough cookie on that one. Who owns the data? Can we use the data? And are we allowed to? So we also discussed the possibility of using, let's say, historical content of Johan Cruijff and transform this into VR, which is definitely very well possible. But also you need the Cruijff Foundation in order to, be allowed to transform this content. So what did we learn? We learned out of this that content's key, but the rights of this content are king. Most of the time you hear content's king, but you need to own the rights. To be allowed to use these videos, transform the videos into this data, and transform the acquired data into an immersive video or media, you need to have access to this content, but also to the rights, and you need access to the rights holders. Without this, it's just a nice idea, but it's not something which can be make use for quickly. And then also, which is something quite new, and we have spoken already with a lot of clubs, who owns, let's say, the positional data, who owns the data rights. You can, sell your footage of the live matches to ESPN, but having a virtual match like watching FIFA, it doesn't. It's not negotiated yet in the contracts at this moment. The outcome is that we're still talking on this. We are we have talked a lot with the ARENA. They already set a lot of foot with the close-up. We discussed on how we could possibly in the future cooperate within this close-up. So that's still an ongoing process. In the meantime, in the ARENA, our company Streaming Bus partnered with Live Arena. It was already, the logo was shown by Hanneke. And we installed a broadcast room in the Johan Cruijff ArenA conference rooms for a fully automated AI-powered live stream session, which can be used for conferences, press release, shareholders meetings. So in short, where you normally needed a full film crew to record and follow the one on the stage showing a presentation, new slides, need to zoom in. He's walking around, he or she is walking around from left to right. This is now all being replaced by a camera powered with AI algorithms, which is really fluently following the speaker. When he detects when there's a new slide, he can zoom into the slide, he can go to a butterfly mode, and it can be live streamed through Teams and can be also, of course, recorded for on-demand playback, which is very cost-effective and no need for a crew. Now, all right. Yeah, so the further outcome for us is that we continued also the discussion with the HVA, and we got introduced to the Digital Society School, where we are working now with, since a month, with 4 amazing students from Colombia, Russia, Czech Republic, and Italy. And we have also had a lot of brainstorm sessions, and we are working on a project now which is called the Digital Twin, and how we could make use together with our technical solutions and their insights to help student athletes reach balance through their daily life in an exclusive way. We are working now with a Paralympic student athlete who is a bicycle rider, and she's blind, and she also has a lot of hobbies and still studying on the HVA. And we are going to track their performance, but also the balance in work life, student life, combined with their professional sports, and also see what kind of impact it has on their performance. If you have a good day, how is your performance going? If you had a few bad days, and to track this besides all the other data we already track. So we are together creating a digital twin where we also gather emotional and energy data and add these to the already mentioned other relevant data to gain further and deeper insights to, well, let's say, prove also what emotional well-being can do to a performance and identify deeper links between that. So the goals we have set are create better athletes. It doesn't necessarily have to be a Paralympic athlete, but that's the topic for the subject we've chosen. It can apply to any kind of athlete. It should be also beneficial for the athlete, and when it's beneficial for the athlete, it can be for a team, in the case of a team sport, the coach, a club, or a league. And ultimately, it's also beneficial for the fans, because if you create better athletes, a better team, it's more fun to watch also for the fans. And it's quite recent that Jurgen Klopp said in the whole discussion with the Super League, the fans are my employer. I work for the fans. I don't work for the club, but in the end, I work for the fans. So then we come to the last slide. The importance of this ecosystem and the inclusiveness that we see with working with the Johan Cruijff ArenA innovations and the HVA is that, well, without the project we had with the Johan Cruijff ArenA and with the HVA, we would never had the chance to further cooperate on let's say the Digital Society School project we are working on right now. The other discussions with the ARENA are still ongoing. we started to discuss further chances and opportunities within possible multiple outcomes. Doesn't necessarily have to be in sports, but can also be in the Fashion Institute, which could also very well still be very beneficial for the Johan Cruijff ArenA. And for us, it this whole process and the ecosystem definitely proves and shows the inclusivity, the methods, the creative sessions we've had, and definitely had a very positive impact also on our company, but also working together with the students, and will create definitely massive opportunities for the future.
Yes, right. Thank you, John. It was nice to hear from you. And yes, you mentioned the creative sessions and the connections with the HVA and the students. I myself was also involved in this, so together with my colleagues Ruben and Wouter. So that was nice. My plan was to show you around at the website, and I'm also speaking on behalf of Ruben today because he can join us. But we are also running out of time a bit, and I'm pretty sure that everybody is getting hungry for their lunch.
The hour, Annika, right? Yeah.
Sorry?
We did make the hour.
Yes, we did make the hour. Yes, definitely. Let me think. So I will share my screen very fast, and I will just point some things. Wait a sec. So, okay, let me just point out the role of the HVA in this SUCS program, because maybe that's nice to hear, because we are a research partner in this ecosystem, or in this program. So we try to give a sort of overview of the ecosystem, and we compared the SMEs connected with the change of the game and the Reimagined Football Challenge, and we looked at their innovations and their difficulties and their similarities. And in order to see all these patterns between these case studies, we try to link pieces of information that we discovered through many experiments and case studies to provide sort of final overview. How did we do this? We did do this with creative sessions, for example. We did do this with workshops and with interviews, and we talked with a lot of people. But there was always one thing that we took sort of key factors in our conversations with all professionals and citizens. These service factors were collected from different resources, from the KNVB, ARENA, from TNO, KPMG, and other sport organizations. So when sorry, you don't see it. So we list this set of service factors, and these are some focus points a lot of SMEs are focusing on. And what we did is we talk about this focus point, but if you can see, tying into local communities, they found it very important, but nobody was actually focusing on this. So that's, for example, a gap. And we did many things. It's just a very small example, but it's quite interesting how it's working with SMEs and the ecosystem and all these parties. Wait, I will also maybe this. This is a website. We built this website, and you can also see these service factors here. And for example, if I just click on the wow moment, you can see the SMEs connecting to the change the game. We are focusing on the wow moment. You can see, for example, live arena. Actually, John was talking about it. You can see what it is and their focus points, their customer journey. Just what I said, I can actually show you around in this website a lot, but maybe you can just scroll around by yourself at a later moment. And yes, and see what's, for example, what kind of methods we used. We have the how-to. If you go to the how-to, you can see all kind of methods. It's like based on the double diamond. You also talked about it, John, the double diamond. And you probably recognize this because we did this with other partners, but also with John. It was to try to see and to make or build a strategy for fan experience. I will go back to my slides. Oh yeah, it's here. Yeah, so another nice thing from this website is it's not finished yet, but next month we will finish it, and it's also a work in progress. And you can also see some videos. We will upload it next month, and you can watch it back. So I see it's 12:30. So you're more than welcome to look around in the website, and we would love you to get involved in this. And if you have any comments, you can also connect with us. We hope you have enjoyed the presentation. Hanneke and Jon, do you have anything to add for now, or can we go to the questions in the chat?
Nothing to add at the moment for me.
Okay. Let's see.
Let's see the questions.
See the first one from Maaike, correct?
Yeah, so maybe you can also answer this one, Jon.
Yes. No, I'm quite sure that, and I know NHK is already for a few years doing a lot of tests on having 8K broadcasts. It does, however, require a lot of bandwidth, of course. I'm not quite sure if they already will. Maybe in a proof of concept, but if it's commercially broadcasted in 8K, I'm not quite sure because, well, there won't be a lot of television screens supporting it. It would be something, definitely would be something we could support if we would have had access to this 8K content. One of our key competences also is that we can, well, we're able to chop up video, so 4K video, HD video, but also 8K video into data. Into a trillion blocks, and we have developed a technique that we can send it, well, and then it's also mainly done by satellite communication providers. We also work a lot with as data, which is a lot cheaper than sending it as a broadcast stream. And then at the entry point where, let's say the TV is, we place them all together again and stitch it into a 4K or an 8K stream. So it's we can support it. I have no idea whether it's supported in the Netherlands in 8K. As for the second question, no, it's definitely not only possible in the arena. In the Netherlands, and let's say our solutions work with any kind of sports, also individual sports. The only necessity we have is we need to have tracking cameras or optical cameras to gather all the positional data. In a few years, we will be able to retrieve it from the broadcast stream itself. But now we need other equipment to have it. The equipment is mainly being owned by third-party companies we partner with, and we have chosen to launch with soccer, football, soccer, because in most of the European countries, but also in the US and South America, and also in Asia, it's something which is being organized league-wide, and then from the league down to the clubs. So, for example, the Eredivisie, but also La Liga, or in England, or France, or Spain, every, let's say, first division team has this optical tracking cameras around the pitch. So we can do this anywhere where the tracking cameras are.
Thank you very much. I think it's very interesting to continue doing research together with also maybe the learning communities of the Amsterdam University of Applied Sciences, for example, in our Department of Digital Media. So looking forward to working with you in the future.
Yeah, likewise. Thank you.
Nice. I see. Who's the website intended for? The next question. Yeah, it's the methods explained in this website are summed up, and it's a sort of guide, or yeah, it's a guide for making decisions on management level in the field of fan experiences. So for who is this site? It's for everybody who is like interested in making fan experience, but also to see and to approach the ecosystem with design tools, with design method tools. And as I already mentioned, the double diamond, but there are also customer journeys or experience map, rope of scope. So it's just nice to have this as a guide. Like, okay, how can I start, and what can I do, and what kind of strategy can I use, or method can I use to make a strategy? Yes. I don't think there are other questions. And yeah, I had a question for Hanneke, but I don't know it's allowed. But I am just very curious, what's the next innovation that you're working on with ARENA? So what can we expect?
Yeah, I can shortly answer because I see it's 6 past already. But
Yes.
now we're working on more of the concept with the healthy building, as we're talking about healthy gatherings, and we've seen the pilots during in March. So we're now trying to bring our partners together that have initiatives, linked to creating a healthy public space. So we are trying to make this standard and see how you can make a stadium safe. But if you learn your lessons and it works in a stadium, you can also apply it to other environments. So you could also make a university safe, or a school, or any office building. So that's the
Nice.
the most current initiative now.
Nice. Okay, so we look forward to seeing you all again. And I guess it's have a good day and enjoy your lunch.
Thanks a lot, everybody.
Thanks, Annika.
Thanks.
Leuk.